Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. Focusing in on a question that I get asked, perhaps one of the most frequent questions, and that is how to get revenge on a covert narcissist. Covert narcissist abuse usually is an insidious condition and situation. Generally, people find that they have been psychologically abused, spiritually abused, emotionally abused, if not physically abused, or suffered physical ailments at the hands and influence of a covert narcissist. And when I mean physical abuse or experiencing physical ailments, we found repeatedly that those who have been neglectful of their authentic self, those people who have essentially tuned their own selves out, their own interests, their own needs, their own truth. They've lived in denial, suppression of their own desires to be sacrificed for another, constantly living to take care of others, people pleasing, so to speak, or really exhibiting and living by covert tendencies rather than really what is in their best interests and really their own homeostasis. This anxiety, this chronic sort of focus on pleasing people who are outside of them rather than living by self-belief and that self-confidence and really pursuit of their own interests and expanding their life on those fronts, we find that people tend to develop a lot of really sort of deep-seated and deep-rooted physical ailments as a result of this. And this is just because oftentimes the emotions are tied into a negative self-belief or really a feeling that they're not good enough, that they're always having to try harder, work harder and harder to please a covert narcissist, because the covert narcissist does not respond really to understanding or really supportive of your own needs, desires, dreams, and really where you're coming from emotionally. So over a long period of time, a chronic period of time, in a long basis, people tend to have a compromised immune system, a compromised digestive system, a compromised emotional balance. So this can really cause a lot of physical maladies as well. A lot of your immune disorders, your fibromyalgias, those situations that are difficult to detect and treat. Having an early incidence of cancer when there's no cancer really even in your family. These can be really related to your emotional health and your emotional well-being, and really essentially a chronic stress that keeps you in an adrenaline sort of overdrive and can create a weakness in the body. So really, understanding this to be the case, how does one really get revenge on a covert narcissist? And that really is to understand that they are nobody without you. They are nobody. They essentially utilize their support, their supply, all the people who are there to appease them, all the people who are there to enable them, pacify them, really going out of their way to really sort of be there for their needs, where the covert narcissist just displays a really social ineptitude, or like that they can't do it for themselves. They're very slow to fulfilling certain requests or needs. So this has really become a manipulation tactic of them. So when you're able to see this and acknowledge it, you have to realize that it's time really to make them become accountable. And accountable to you means, fulfilling and following through on your requests. Oftentimes the covert narcissist is what we call passive-aggressive, which means that they're very slow to respond and slow to acknowledge. And in this passivity, it tends to create sort of a rumbling or anxiety within the people in their life, and they tend to become very agitated when these people are really slow to accomplish certain things and certain tasks, or act like they're inaccountable. And really this becomes a manipulation tactic, and it also tends to foster a certain degree of resentment. So realizing that, and that if if you're in a situation with a covert narcissist, make sure you have kind of a little bit of a timeline attached to this. Not that you're having to be, you know, like a taskmaster, but for your own satisfaction and creating some structure on the relationship, make sure that you have a little bit of structure and guidelines of things that you need to have fulfilled. Also, you know, realize that, you know, that they utilize this as a manipulation tactic. And, you know, definitely emphasize to them that, you know, just say in a very matter-of-fact term, you know, I'm noticing that this isn't getting done. You know, do we need to hire somebody? You know, or like if they're slow to, you know, process it and slow to accomplish it, just, you know, ask them if they have all the tools that they need, you know, see if there's anything missing, and if there's any sort of, you know, elements that you can bring into the equation to help them fulfill it. In other words, be very supportive, but realize, you know, and just you can kind of confront them a little bit and say, you know, you seem to shy away from this. You seem to, you know, you have to really step into the fear. You have to face your fear, or what Sandler calls speak your fear. So speaking your fear might mean, you know, you actually say what it is you're afraid of. So if you're afraid of, you know, that they're just buckling down and they're just trying to manipulate and agitate you, you know, speak your fears. Say something on the lines of, you know, it seems like you're just not interested in taking care of the house. Is that true? You know, it seems like, you know, you're not, you know, helping with the plans, that it's not very important to you. Is that accurate? So you can just try to get their feedback in terms of what your concerns are. So, and, you know, for that way, the anxiety isn't on you. The anxiety, basically, the question and accountability is going back to them. So you're in essence able to, you know, state your fears, which means don't let it fester within you. Don't let it cause a sort of judgment and dismay within you. Find a way to articulate it and ask them about that. You know, it seems like you don't remember where you put things. You know, do you need help organizing? It seems like you don't have, you know, it seems like every time we go through this, you don't have the documents ready. You know, can you get those together now and we talk about this tomorrow? I mean, finding ways to really address those questions, and so that you show that you're sharp, you're aware, and that you're interested, and that you expect them to fulfill certain requirements. So with your expectation and articulation, yes, it's a lot of work, but if you're still cohabitating with a covert narcissist, you need to make sure that they are accountable. And if not accountable, then, you know, you need to basically say, well, then I'm going to take this over, and, you know, start making strides to assure that it will be. And that way, at least it'll alleviate you from constantly having to perpetuate the same questions, going through the same fights, the same conflict consciousness, and it will help relieve you of that anxiety. Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.